Well, we've got the holiday coming and everyone's cooking and we've got great food, but we want to make sure it's safe. And joining us today, we've got Misty Lee. She's a Service Safe Instructor Proctor and approved Ohio provider. And that means you're certified in food safety and stuff, so you know what you're talking about. So help us, guide us through this holiday so we all stay healthy and don't get sick.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, I usually teach it on the commercial segment of for food safety and sanitation. However, in the home environment, it's super important to make sure that that we're serving our families and friends in a safe manner, for sure.
Yeah, and that can start in your kitchen, right? I mean, make sure the countertops in your kitchen is clean.
Yeah, and you know, it's good. A nice detergent to clean and scrub all the bacteria off is good. You can use of bleach and water, which like 4 teaspoons of bleach per quart of water will really kill all the bacteria that's necessary.
All right, so Thanksgiving, we are talking about the turkey, the bird, and that's one of those foods that really can contaminate your kitchen and can make people sick.
Yeah, so poultry in general will carry salmonella, and it can splatter with just the juice all over your entire kitchen. So I always say, you know, after you sanitize your countertops, get your bird ready. However you're going to prepare it is good. Get it into the oven. Get your hands washed, get your cloths washed, wipe and sanitize everything down, and then get rid of those. Put them away in the dirty clothes. Wash your hands and start fresh. Then that way your fresh vegetables and things like that's not going to get cross-contaminated.
Right, because that's where problems start, right?
It is, and it can just lead from one thing to the other.
And you talked about wash your hands. I mean, do it a lot, right? I mean, we talked about that through the pandemic, but when you're in the kitchen and cooking, wash your hands and be touching different things,
yeah,
right?
and you got to be sensitive. You know, in the food service industry, we have to wear gloves when you're handling ready-to-eat foods. That's anything that's cooked, and there's no further cooking has to happen to it. So you definitely want to wash your hands often, vigorously scrub, and you know, get them good and rinsed, and do it often, especially in between jobs of different like poultry to fresh vegetables to whatever. So for sure.
All right, we already have the bird in the oven, but let's backtrack a little bit because thawing, that could be important too. What if people don't do that right?
Well, the thawing is the number one. It's the number one thing, because if you don't have it all the way thawed, you can't prep it properly. A lot of people want to run hot water in it, then it's in the temperature danger zone, can cause a lot of problems. I'm saying, sometimes it'll say, oh, 48 hours. The bigger the bird, the longer I'm saying 5 to 6 days to unthaw in the refrigerator. And here's what you have to think about. If you have an outside refrigerator and it's outside and you're thawing there, you're probably still going to be at freezer temperature for a while. So you probably need to bring it inside, put it on the lowest shelf in your refrigerator so those juices don't drip down. Have a little pan underneath it or whatnot to get that good and thawed out for you.
Right, yeah.
But you don't want to leave it on the countertop.
Don't leave it, you know, in the sink and stuff like that.
No,
yeah,
no.
Don't do that.
No, not at all.
All right, so we're cooking the turkey. Don't put the stuffing in, which many people are like, we did that for years. Why can't we do that?
Well, if you're roasting a whole turkey, and if you stuff it with stuffing, which typically has some potentially hazardous foods in it as well, maybe sausage, all that stuff. There's no guarantee that stuffing's going to make it to temperature. You know, when you get the gooey stuffing out and it's in the middle of the cavity, it might only be 100 degrees. That's not enough to kill any kind of salmonella. So I always say just cook it separate.
Right.
But if you think you have to have it, cook it separate, and then right when you're getting ready to serve that whole turkey, stuff it in.
Oh, okay.
So it is safer.
Right.
It is safer for sure.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Okay. Let's see. Prepping. All right. So we're getting everything ready. That's another thing. You got to be careful and don't let it out too long. I mean, just kind of wait till everybody's ready, right? How do you do that? Serve it up.
So when everything gets done, hopefully we haven't really overcooked the turkey. 165 degrees is maximum. My mother, I'm sorry, Mom. She used to say, cook that turkey for all night long. No, you don't really have to.
People used to wake up at the crack of dawn and stick it in the oven and
you know, 165 degrees in the thickest part of the bird is the best. Sometimes they have the little pop-out buttons. Those are pretty accurate. If you don't have that, if you just grab that leg, if it starts just releasing right away, you know that turkey's probably done.
Okay.
So, but then you want to hold your stuff in a warm oven. And you like 170 degrees. If you don't have an oven to keep it warm, put it in an insulated cooler, like a whatever kind of cooler that you have. That will keep your food nice and warm till your guests arrive.
Right.
Same with your cool foods. Keep them in the fridge. Hot food's hot, cold food's cold.
Right.
It's like to preach that.
Seems kind of simple. All right, we've all enjoyed the food and we have leftovers. Yay! But you got to be careful with that too.
You do have to be careful with your leftovers. I always say, first off, make sure you don't put super hot food in the refrigerators because you're going to lose all your temperature, and then you're going to potentially cause problems with your other foods in the fridge. So the nice thing about the holidays, it's cold outside, so if you don't have a place to get that down to a cool temperature to get it in the refrigerator, you can set it outside on the patio. Just make sure it's covered up or in a garage or whatever to get it into the refrigerator. But please make sure to break those things down into smaller pieces. It really, pull the rest of that turkey off the bone. A leg is fine, but if you have a whole chunk of breast, it's going to take a long time to cool down.
Right, yeah. And the thing is, you're cooking for others. Just keep it safe, right? I mean, just be careful and be on the safe side.
Yeah, and, please, if you are cooking for others, when you're tasting your food, taste it with a spoon, throw the spoon away, or put it in the sink to be washed. Probably it's not good to lick your fingers. I mean, if you're going to lick your fingers, wash your hands.
Right.
So be sensitive that other people don't always want to share your germs because that's how all the cross-contamination happens and people get sick.
Yeah, we're trying to keep everybody safe. Couple days down the road for the holiday, you don't want to be sick.
No, you do not. So, for sure.
Awesome tips. Thank you very much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you, Holly. I appreciate it.
All right, don't go away. Noon Edition continues in a moment.